bad movies, bad life advice, and even worse life decisions. We cover it all here on the Life with Kenny podcast. I'm your host, Kenny. Grab a beer, sit back, and relax for this week's episode, because things are about to get weird.
What's an all-American girl like you doing with a geek like this?
Forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
Fuck me gently with a chainsaw.
Jimmy was off the hook. I know you really don't listen to Slipknot.
Treasure Rhino.
You are listening to a Life with Kenny podcast.
Not quite my tempo. It's all good. No worries. Here we go.
Hello out there. We're on the air. It's hockey night tonight. Right, Kyle?
Yeah.
We are back with the Life with Kenny podcast, and if you recognize that beautiful voice, that means Kyle is back in the studio.
That's me. We also got our special guest returning once again, the Furnace.
Yeah.
We are back in
We
the
are
basement.
back in the basement, baby. I think it warrants the song "The Boys Are Back in Town" to be blared right now because Patrick is also back.
Right.
Holy.
It's been a while,
the
boys.
Trinity.
It's been.
The Holy Trinity.
It feels like the podcast has been on hiatus and came back.
Holy Trinity.
The Greasy Trinity.
Oh, perfect.
That's much better.
Easier?
The Mackers boys.
Yeah.
So today we're going to start our movie month on music movies, I guess. We're going to be a little bit rusty because we were supposed to start this like 3 weeks ago. So we're going to start that now. And the first movie we're going to be watching is School of Rock. I don't know if you guys actually knew that. I think I kind of just threw that your way and
Sounds good.
hoped you'd pick up
I
on
like that
but,
movie.
It's a good film.
But
My wife made sure she told me that she hates School of Rock. So
wait, really?
Yeah.
Why does she hate School of Rock?
I don't know. I just don't think she gets the humor, and
Well,
maybe she doesn't enjoy music.
She hates.
You can inform her that her opinion is incorrect.
She hates School of Rock, and she
She'll
married
be
Kyle,
listening
so
to
she
this.
must have terrible taste.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'll see you guys later.
Why do you have so much detergent?
Like laundry detergent?
That's an unfucking believable amount of detergent.
Yeah,
Every sweater needs to smell different.
I mean, shit goes on sale, man. But yeah, so normally we talk about the movie,
No,
but
don't fucking breeze past this. Just because something's on sale doesn't mean that you buy a fucking horrendous amount of it.
Do we got to call Dr. Phil on this one?
We might, yeah.
okay, Patrick wants to know what the deal with the detergent is. I have a large bottle of detergent because that large bottle costs the same as the small bottle.
No, that's fine. But you've got 4 other bottles up there.
No, one's a bottle of water, one's an OxyClean bleach cleaner, and the other one is a fabric softener.
So
I don't
yeah.
know if you've ever done laundry before, Patrick, but there's more than just one detergent usually.
That blue jug up there, at Costco, I get ones bigger than that, and they go on sale, and I buy 4 at a time.
Oh, we got ours
But
from
they're all the
Costco
same.
as well, and we just leave it in the laundry room. But like, why is there water up there? The washing machine does
I
have
don't know.
water in it.
You use distilled water for stuff. I'm not positive what it's
No,
fucking.
you don't. Not in
No,
Saskatchewan.
definitely not.
I don't know what women
I
do
don't know,
with their
maybe.
laundry.
You don't even have drinking water in Saskatchewan. Don't pretend that's clean.
I don't know. It's definitely not mine. So
All right, man. Well, anyway, carry on.
not
Got
my
off
bag.
track there.
it's been a few weeks. So normally we also like to talk about stuff we've been watching and some movie trailers that I forced the guys to watch this week. Particularly shitty movie trailers. I'm sorry about that, boys.
Yeah, a bit rough.
But since it's been a few weeks, I'm assuming you guys have actually watched stuff this time. It's been a fucking month.
I watched one thing.
What did you watch?
That thing on Netflix called The Perfection.
It's called The Perfection.
Yeah. It's
Can-
fucked.
Can you enlighten us? I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, never heard of her.
It's a movie about 2 cello players. And that's pretty much all I can say. But it's definitely not what you think it is.
Is it a movie or a series?
It's a movie.
I think I might have.
And it's
Seen
the one
a
that's
trailer or
supposedly making
something.
people physically ill.
I might have seen a trailer for this actually.
Yeah, but it's actually very good.
really.
What makes people feel sick?
I kind of got why.
Is it just very graphic at times?
That, and it does depict like a lot of sickness.
Okay.
But it does it in like, you know, when you feel yourself getting really fucking sick and
Yeah.
it just feels disgusting and like your brain is just all over the fucking place.
Right.
It does a very good job of like depicting that.
Right.
But yeah, it's a worth a watch, definitely.
But
So-
don't watch on a full stomach, or
I mean, I was eating while I was watching it. There's very little that deters me from eating.
Yeah,
to be
make sure
fair.
you're eating oatmeal and SpaghettiOs mixed together, and then
Why would you ever eat that, you fucking
yeah.
detergent hoarding maniac?
Kyle, what have you been watching?
The plasma table at work. I haven't watched much really. I watched that Made in the 90s or
mid-90s.
Yeah,
What did you think?
it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great.
Like, it's worth a watch, though, right?
Yeah,
How did you feel about the ending of that movie, though?
it was kind of. I felt like it could have gone on longer. It kind of
Yeah.
just stopped for no reason.
That was the one thing that kind of like took me out of it, but
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. I haven't really watched. Well, I've watched lots of stuff, but it's nothing. I've been watching the basketball finals
yeah, I watched that.
because Canada's in the basketball finals right now with the Toronto Raptors, and there's a good chance we might lose or win. I don't know. We'll find out in a couple days
I
here.
thought you already lost.
We lost
No.
that game. There's Golden
7.
State has to win
Yeah.
2 more games still, and we
We have to
win
win
one. So if we win tomorrow, we won the NBA Finals.
Fair.
Yeah, and I think there's hockey going on now too. Kyle said so. There's a lot of sports going
Yeah,
on right
so
now. But
we have 2 chances at winning, and Golden State has to win 2 games in a row to win. So
All right.
yeah, and I've been watching lots of YouTube. I got YouTube Premium. I haven't watched Boy Band Con yet, which we talked about on one of the other episodes. But I've been browsing like what else they have available on there. Did you get Premium yet at all, Patrick, or check that out?
No.
So the reason I got Premium is because YouTube started doing this thing in the past 2 weeks where they started airing 2 ads back to back
Yeah,
in front of every
I've seen
fucking
that.
video now.
yeah, and like in the middle of videos too.
Yeah.
Man, I've been watching. There's this guy William Osman. He built himself a laser cutter, and he just like programs his own stuff and cuts it. But he does like stupid shit. So like he made a scale bust of Vin Diesel, but he cut it out of like lunch meat ham. So he cut the things that he pieced it together to make a Vin Diesel bust.
All right.
And it's just like he does stupid stuff like that. It's like really entertaining. But every time I'd get halfway through a video, I'd get pulled out because I'd have to fucking like stop and wait for a fucking 2-minute.
Yeah, nobody cares
Commercial.
that Nissan Rogue is back again in 2019.
Yeah,
Right.
No one can afford that.
Yeah.
And then they also have the mandatory 15-second and 30-second commercials you can't skip now. So I was like, fuck it. I got a free trial for YouTube Premium. So I went and I got that. And there's a couple shows on there that are like kind of interesting. There's one called Game Lab that I think Patrick might find interesting. This YouTuber named Matt Pat, he's famous for trying to like debunk the possibilities of video game stuff happening in real life with like science and shit. And so he does stuff like Mirror's Edge, the parkour game. He'll basically take a bunch of YouTube gamers, put them together, and they'll all try and learn parkour in a day and see if some of the maneuvers are actually like physically possible. And they'll have actual parkour professionals there to show them and dive into that. Or they do you know Metal Gear Solid? Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
They contacted a Navy SEAL, and he gave them a little bit of like training, just like talked them through some stuff, and then they had to basically do capture the flag with this Navy SEAL at night, and it started like 2v2, and one guy like went in and he like hid under a box for a bit, like in Metal Gear Solid, and he actually like got past with the box.
Wow.
And then it went 4 versus the Navy SEAL, and the guy just fucking murked them all. And they were like, yeah, I don't think it's possible for people to like hide under a box and get past a bunch of trained Navy SEALs. Like, it's kind of interesting if you're into like video games and stuff. But yeah, other than that, YouTube Premium kind of sucks, man.
Yeah, it's not great.
I don't know. I spent probably a good hour the other day looking for stuff that was like potential stuff to watch, and there wasn't really much.
Yeah, the
But-
only thing you get from it is the lack of ads.
Yeah.
That's the only
Which
valuable thing.
if it wasn't so expensive, would be worth it. Like, if it was $5 a month just to get rid of the ads, I'd probably do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I watched Jurassic Park last night for like the 5th time, and that movie still holds up, man. That's a good movie.
Man, are you guys going to Jurassic Quest?
Do you know what that is, Patrick?
Have you heard of it?
It looks pretty cool. I don't know. It looks like it's for kids though.
Yeah, but there's lots of like from the looks of it, like interesting technology and shit like that too. Like basically, I think it was states only until this year. I heard on the radio.
Yeah. So the idea is it's a dinosaur petting zoo.
Yeah.
But all the
you
dinosaurs
can ride
are
dinosaurs
like super in-depth animatronic dinosaurs. Like
Yeah.
they all breathe mist through their noses and all this shit, and they all like move like accurately. And then they have like obviously little ones that are just like puppets that they puppeteer for the kids to play with and stuff, and like make them look like real dinosaurs and stuff. But it looks like it's gonna be like a big fucking thing this year.
If it's like less than $20 a person, I'd probably go check it out.
Yeah.
And they're coming to Saskatoon.
Yeah, it's coming in the next couple weeks.
Really?
Yeah. So
that just sounds a bit fucking mental. Like you
Yeah.
could technically have an actual Jurassic Park on your hand, but with robots.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like if Terminator was real, you'd be fucked because you
like
have
I'm sure
dinosaurs too.
I'm sure a lot of the shit that's gonna be here was used for making like Jurassic Park movies and stuff.
Well,
And-
like the same technology,
Yeah.
they probably used something similar.
Yeah, not
but-
like actually movie props, but you know.
Yeah, some of the dinosaurs and stuff look good just from the videos, but
Yeah.
it probably, as any promo video, it probably won't look as good in person. I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical, but
Speaking of garbage promos, did you guys watch anything from E3?
yeah, man, I'm so stoked.
On what?
On the Breath of the Wild sequel they announced.
Anything else for normal consoles?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Keanu Reeves is is doing Cyberpunk
Yeah.
2077.
What- you know, what's
it's a
really-
video game conference, Kyle, where they start to announce. It's like 3 days where they announce all the new stuff for video
Yeah.
games.
Oh, right
So
on.
they actually showed the Halo trailer for the new game,
Yeah,
which
fantastic.
looks great.
Didn't show a shred of gameplay. Not fucking interested.
Well, the stuff that they showed is actually in the game engine because they're developing it for the new system, the new Xbox system, the Scarlet. So it's all going to be a release game for the new system. I don't know. It's nerdy shit, but yeah, they announced a new Zelda game, which I'm excited for. I only saw the Nintendo conference, so I haven't seen anything else. I didn't see anything today.
There was literally nothing else.
Huh. Well,
There was like fuck all. There was a new fucking Watch Dogs game announced, which basically looks like
well, it started yesterday.
There was nothing for Soldier Boy's game system.
I think that's out of it, but they're Google's doing something similar now.
I did see that, and I honestly, I've lost a lot of faith in video game companies.
They're just like, hey, we're Google. We have a new console coming out that's going to have the same games as the Xbox and PlayStation, which you already own, except we're going to be remastering those games that just came out last year and releasing them for our console. And
Yeah.
it's streaming only.
And
So,
they'll probably
buy it.
make it like they'll put like little Easter eggs in it, change some shit up.
Yeah. I don't
It's-
know, man. It's
I feel like they're underestimating. Either there will be way too many people that buy it, and every game will play like garbage because the amount of bandwidth they have to share,
yeah.
or no one will buy it.
I don't think anybody's going to buy it. Oh, how about that Avengers game?
Oh, mate, that looked fucking hilarious.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
They released a trailer for an Avengers game,
Is it
Kyle.
still recording?
Yeah, it's still recording.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a glitch, right, that you heard?
Yeah.
It's a trailer for an Avengers game, and it looks like a PC Cola version of like an Avengers. It's
Yeah.
just all like this is what Tony Stark looks like in the game. He just looks like generic male number one,
Yeah.
and you're just like supposed
And the
to.
Hulk.
You're supposed to be excited for it, and it just looks like shit.
That's probably because they can't use the faces of
There was
the actual people.
the stuff that they showed as well. There's no fucking way that was actual gameplay.
Yeah, man,
I-
and it doesn't look good.
always, you can always tell when stuff isn't gameplay because it just runs way too smooth.
Yeah. I'm looking at IGN right now. There wasn't really anything announced. Like it's a
No.
bunch of ports for the Switch, and that's about it.
There was the one thing that I am very excited for is Dying Light 2.
Right. Yeah, you love the zombie games, right?
Yeah, well, I love Dying Light because it was basically just like a better version of Dead Island.
Yeah. I think for one of so if you don't know, Kyle, Keanu Reeves also did a presentation for E3 as well for this game called Cyberpunk 2077, and it's supposed to be just like a
Because
futuristic.
2078 was already taken, or
Yeah, 76.
Yeah.
But that's exactly the joke that I made when I saw that was the title, because it's like, why would you do that? But Keanu Reeves is going to be a playable character in it, they announced yesterday. And to announce that, they had Keanu Reeves come out to announce the release date as well. And it was like so like heartwarming yet cringy at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like so awkward. I'll have to show you the video, but it's spawned like a whole new thing of memes now the past couple days of just Keanu being like, check this out and shit.
Yeah.
And it's great. Like at one point during the conference, Keanu goes, everybody knows I love a good story and scenery that's breathtaking. And somebody in the crowd yells, "You're breathtaking." And then he takes a step back and he tries to be humble and he goes, "No, you're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking." So that's like the new meme that's going on right now.
Like Shia LaBeouf, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's like he's like taking over the world right now with like John Wick and stuff too. So it's like, I think for the podcast, my friend sent me a bunch of info about Keanu Reeves' life that I need to dig in because it seems like there's a lot of like really interesting stuff about this guy. And if it all turns out to be true, I would like to do like a Life Legends where I kind of tell you guys about Keanu Reeves a bit because there's some crazy shit that I've been reading about this dude.
Yeah, I'd love to get excited about that game, but
yeah, I don't know.
It seems really fucking ambitious.
Yeah, well, it's been in development hell for 7 years.
It has, but it's also made by CD Projekt Red, I think. Right?
Yeah, which
people
what
made
have
The
they
Witcher.
done? That's what they did.
The Witcher 3, yeah, which was a fucking incredible game.
Yeah, I haven't played it still.
So good. Like,
Although
do you guys think that video games are dying a bit?
I don't.
No, I wouldn't say.
No?
I think that a lot of companies have fallen into a bad habit of making the same game, but with a different name.
I feel like
I mean, with like a lot of like apps, like app games coming out and internet games, like things like that. Do you think?
No, I feel like it's just
it?
reaching more and different audiences. Like the people who are playing mobile games aren't the same people that are going to play BioShock on the Xbox.
Yeah. I just feel like there's too many companies pushing for that release date.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is it's like there's rumors.
Have you played No Man's Sky recently?
I downloaded it after you told me that they made some changes, and I couldn't jump back into it.
I have put 16 hours into it.
16?
In the last...
That's it?
Week.
That's it?
I've been working.
I put 20 hours into a fucking stupid game called Ukulele in the past week.
Jesus Christ. But the No Man's Sky now is where it should have been at release date.
Yeah.
But because another company got its hands on it and pushed this very small indie developer to release it.
It was an ambitious idea too, though.
It was an ambitious idea, and I was so excited for it. And I was really, really, really sad for What's-His-Face, Sean Murray, when it released, because he couldn't show his face because everyone was so angry with him.
Right. So, Kyle, do you know what No Man's Sky is?
I'm guessing it's a video game.
Do you want to explain to Kyle why it was so ambitious?
So the reason why it was so ambitious is because it was essentially a procedurally generated universe with something like 18 quintillion planet-sized planets to explore. Like, genuinely...
So it's been in the makes for a long time then, or they just...
No, they found an algorithm that would just randomly generate things?
So basically, you can find a planet, but nothing on that planet exists until you land and find it.
That's fucked up.
So you can find this planet, conquer it, build stuff on it, whatever, and then leave. And it's an online universe, so there's a very slim chance you could run into another player. But they could find your planet and see all the stuff that you've done. But it's a continuously generating universe.
Yeah.
So you're constantly like star warping and stuff, and like it's such a strange idea for a game, and it's an interesting concept. But it's like the creatures randomly generate too. So it's like you'll go to one planet and it'll be a bunch of fluffy little bunnies that are super cute, and then you'll go to the next planet and it'll be like a T-Rex that's flying with a unicorn horn and bunny ears, because that's just how the algorithm generated it.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. But you can dig underground.
So do you can build shit like you get materials and
stuff?
You
have to harvest resources. So
or you can play on creative mode and just fucking go ham, which I've been doing.
Yeah.
Every planet
so fun.
Has its own like resources. So if you need like a certain type of metal, you can kind of see the percentage of metals on that planet and go there and try and get it. But there's it generates its own environment too. So if you land there and you don't have any suit or anything built for yourself, and that planet's atmosphere has no oxygen and acid rain, you die, basically. And then
there was like, you get fucking crazy weather, like just a straight up firestorm.
And it just randomly generates. So
Yeah.
you'll be walking on a planet and there'll be acid pouring on you.
Yeah.
It's such a like interesting idea for a game, and I was excited when I bought it, but playing it I was kind of like,
Yeah, there was genuinely, maybe when it first came out, 4 hours absolute maximum before you started getting really fucking bored.
And I agree with that, but I think the biggest issue is because you have to find all the supplies and work hard for the supplies. So for me, before I could even leave a planet, I had to spend 16 hours getting enough materials to fix my ship that crashed on the planet.
Which is why I'm playing on creative mode.
And then I flew to one of the warp spaces, and then it was like, okay, well, which planet do you want to go to? And all of them had like acid rain and shit, and I had no things to fix my stuff. And once you leave your planet, it's like almost impossible to get back to it. So even if I wanted to go back to do it,
the good thing about it now is that there's vehicles that you can make, there's bases that you can create, and it always marks your home base. And then whenever you go to a space station, there's also a portal inside the space station where you can teleport back to whichever planet you've built a base on.
It does sound interesting, but it sounds like you'd have to spend a lot of time playing this game to get good at it.
There's still so much in it that I have.
It's alone too. Like you're spending all that time building stuff by yourself, no interactions, and you have to find languages too. That's another cool thing.
The thing with that is that you can now join a random player's game.
Really?
And also, you know the portals that were shown in the trailer?
Right.
And then when you found them when it first came out, they were just not working.
Right.
Like you would approach them and nothing would happen.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can actually get the coordinates for the planet that you're on and like put them online. So there's people online that have built like crazy fucking bases on these planets that they've found a portal on, and you can like teleport to it and dick around with it.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, one of the things too is to communicate with the aliens and stuff. They all speak their own language. And if you go to like a galaxy where they speak a language and you don't know any of it, you have to basically go onto the planet and dig up architecture and study and like try and learn the language on your own before you can actually communicate with them.
Most of it's just
basically
guesswork.
Like real life in a sense, except it's a video game. Like you have to earn everything.
Yeah.
The thing that amazes me is that the planets themselves are genuinely the size of actual planets.
I feel like for me to play something like that, I'd have to be like, okay, I'm taking off 3 weeks of work, and I'm just gonna literally sit and play this fucking game.
I mean, I've been playing it while listening to a playlist called New Retro Wave, and Kitten's super baked. And it is honestly so fucking chill.
And just staring off into space.
Literally. I'll fly out into space and just be like, oh, sick.
Yeah. Well, maybe on the next episode we'll be able to update listeners with some more E3 stuff if anything develops, if anybody's interested in that, because I'm always interested in new shit, but the thing is they're mostly just announcing ports and stuff. And remakes.
And it's everything they announce is just, you know, the CGI trailer.
Yeah, and it's
and from what I've learned, you can never fucking trust that, especially not Ubisoft pieces of shit. Fuck me. Every single game, downgrade. Fuck you.
Yeah, Watch Dogs is going to be so good. We like to talk about trailers as well that we watch, and I made these guys watch some trailers. The first one that we watched was called Changeland, starring Seth Green and Macaulay Culkin and Breckin Meyer. I like all three of those guys in their own movies, but this one I'm not sure how I feel about.
You like Macaulay Culkin in anything but Home Alone?
Yeah, I've seen him and his brother in some things that...
All right.
He's an interesting actor.
He's a bit skeletal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They probably just brought him to the movie because he was like, I'll supply the cocaine.
Did this trailer make any connection with you, Kyle? Or like, do you remember anything about this by chance?
Yeah, like I'd probably watch it. Are you asking like something specific I should have picked up on?
Did you listen to the Seth Green episode of Dax Shepard's podcast?
Yeah.
This is the movie that he was talking about that he was making, that he was writing and directing.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, where he says he goes to Thailand after a breakup and he falls in love with one of the locals.
I wonder if Dax is going to be in it then.
Yeah,
because he was asking for a cameo or something. I remember.
But yeah, so that's why I saw this trailer and I was like, oh, this might be interesting.
Yeah. It looks okay. Like I'd probably watch it. I don't think I'd go to it in theaters, but I think it would be a slow burning movie with some funny parts. Like it's kind of like a hangover movie, you know?
Yeah. How do you feel about it, Patrick?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't go watch it in theaters. I don't like watching stuff in theaters that doesn't make me have a fucking prolapse, you know?
Right. It's tough for me because I like Seth Green's writing. Like I really like Robot Chicken. Like I think he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
And he's got like a
he's
mind for
interesting
humor.
too. Yeah.
But I don't know. Like it's kind of like a drama comedy.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Not sure,
like
it's not really my type of thing.
I think it'll be more of a drama than a comedy, but it does look like it's kind of like what's like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, you know?
Yeah. Which
it goes through a breakup, fucking still
bit,
goes on the honeymoon or whatever the fuck it is. And
have you seen that one, Patrick?
Yeah,
that one's a
movie.
good
like
movie.
that
like that one's straight up comedy though, like really good movie.
Oh, there's some sad moments in that movie though, and some awkward moments. But yeah, that was Changeland, the second movie. These are all trailers that I just kind of threw together a month ago when I thought we were going to watch this movie. So there's probably been better trailers since, but I haven't had time to find any. But the second movie is called In Fabric. The reason I picked this one is it's the studio A24. It's the same one that did Hereditary and The Witch and all those cool art house horror movies.
Yeah, no, I think this one's a bit too far that way for me.
I think it's when I was watching it, it made me feel like they were trying to go back to the 80s and make an 80s horror.
Well, that's like
movie,
60s almost.
Well, like
sort
where
of
like an inanimate object comes back to haunt and kill.
Yeah.
Well,
or like that movie, the one where the tire fucking
rubber. That one came out like a couple years ago.
No, I know, but it's like, you know, it's just
Well, they referenced David Lynch and Dario Argento. So it's like kind of art housey, like Suspiria type vibes that they're going for, but that stuff's not really my thing. But I thought I'd show you guys this just in case. It's about a killer dress, if anybody's wondering. It's called In Fabric. So I don't know. We'll have to see how the reviews are when it comes out. I might give it a watch depending. But Patrick, actually, I was going to ask you, have you been watching anything since you got your Shudder subscription?
No, I've watched one thing on it.
Really?
And that was what I spoke about the last time we did a podcast. I haven't watched a single other thing on that thing.
Can you share your passcode for that? Like, can you have like watching on different TVs?
I don't know. I'd assume so, but you'd have to have his email information and stuff too.
No, because like Tori's sister that was on here.
Yeah.
She got it and she's been watching a lot of stuff and she said that I should check it out.
It's $5 and you can get like a 5-week free trial.
Yeah.
So it's almost worth doing.
In 5 weeks, I'd probably watch one thing on there.
There's enough stuff on there that if you actually were like, if you had time to just sit down and watch something horror related, you'd find something easily. There's so much on there that's
but
like
I don't watch
quality.
horror stuff at home, right?
Right. Yeah.
Actually, one thing I have been watching is more Graveyard Cars.
And what's that about?
Oh, that's like that one that me and Dad watched. That's all like Mopars.
Oh, yeah.
Being restored, but they're doing the Christine car right now.
Oh, that's a good movie. Have you seen that one, Patrick?
The what?
Christine?
Stephen King's Christine, where the killer car.
It's a John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
It's a pretty goofy movie, but
there's some really good like just the wording that they use in a lot of scenes that they took out of the book is pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
And like vulgar and stuff, but yeah.
So the last trailer that we watched is for a movie called The Kitchen. It's starring Melissa McCarthy and one of my most hated people right now, Tiffany Haddish. Don't go calling me a racist. It has nothing to do with her race. I just find her severely annoying as a human being. I don't know if you guys know Tiffany Haddish.
No, why is she annoying?
Was that the blonde one?
No, she's the annoying girl that was in that new Kevin Hart movie. I don't know.
I've never seen it.
She was in Keanu. I don't know if you guys seen that one. That's the Key and Peele movie.
I like that movie.
Yeah, she's like the main girl that they...
Oh, the undercover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's the blonde one in this movie? Like, I can't.
It's something. What's she from? Moss. I don't know. I don't know too much about her, but
she was
like, she looked familiar. I can't, and I know it's like a movie I've seen a couple times that she was in.
Yeah, she was the girlfriend of the main, well, the kind of main character for Get Him to the Greek. Have you ever seen that?
Right.
Yeah. Who's in that one?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
With is it Jonah Hill?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jonah Hill's girlfriend in it. She's the nurse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Elizabeth Moss is her name. Let's just see. Let's pull up her credits. She's in The Handmaid's Tale. She's in Us. She's in Mad Men. She's in a lot of shit. So
yeah.
Oh, she is in Us. Yeah.
But the kitchen looks interesting to me. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It's a different take on like, would it be DC?
Yeah, it's a DC universe? Spinoff. So it's like Vertigo is the it's like their R-rated comic section. So the synopsis for the kitchen is: when gangster husbands wind up in prison in the 1970s, their wives take over their organization and become Hell's Kitchen's most powerful mobsters. So I don't know if you guys got that from the trailer, because I fucking didn't.
I did. I figured it out.
I figured that that the women were criminals, apparently, from what they were saying, and that they were just trying to take the power back from the men.
I don't fucking know. It looked a bit garbage, to be honest.
Really? It looks interesting to me.
That's a weird character for Melissa McCarthy, though.
Yeah.
It seems like way too serious, but
I don't know. I think she's super underrated as an actress, to be honest.
No, I do think she can pull it off. It's just a weird character to see,
right?
Like, watch her play.
Not the usual thing she'd have been casted as.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've been talking for a half hour. Those are 3 movies that you guys can keep an eye out for, and our E3 coverage, I guess.
Yeah.
We're about to go watch School of Rock, and let's do some pre-show questions quick. Patrick. I know Kyle's seen this movie before, but Patrick, have you seen this movie?
Yeah, dude.
When's the last time you guys have watched School of Rock?
Yesterday.
I wouldn't put it past you with your fucking track record. You'd be like, oh, fuck, we're watching School of Rock?
No, at least 2 days ago.
So it's been a while?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't think of the last time, but it was probably like a year ago or something.
Damn it, Kyle.
But there was one time that it was on TV and it kept playing over and over again, and I just fucking left it on.
Yeah, this is one of those movies that they play all the time. Do you guys think you'll like this movie on rewatching?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
What were you guys' feelings the first time that you watched it? The first couple times you guys liked it?
I was like fucking 8 years old.
Well, I mean, like, overall, do you like this movie so far before we go into it?
Yeah.
I just remember thinking like Jack Black is a fucking god. Like, he is just an amazing character in this movie.
He's such an incredibly talented guy as well. Like, unbelievably talented.
And like, just lovable for some fucking reason. He's got that about him, you know?
We'll dive into that a lot more after we watch the movie. Oh, yeah,
I'm excited for the fucking trivia.
Jump into Tenacious D, which I don't think Kyle's seen.
I thought of this. Why are we calling it trivia? That'd be like asking questions.
Because it's...
It'd be like facts?
No, I call it trivia because that's what it's listed under on the IMDb page.
Yeah.
It's trivia under IMDb.
All right, I just wanted to clear that up. I figured that's what was going on, but...
Yeah, I'm sure. From the way that you asked that, I'm positive that's how you thought about it.
You're a clever dude.
Oh, fuck you guys.
But yeah, we're going to go watch School of Rock, and don't forget, the legend of the Rent was way hardcore!
Yeah, it's pretty high.
All right, we are back, and we just watched The School of Rock. Big fan of The School of Rock. It came out in 2003, back when I was a young little lad.
Also, St. Louis won Stanley Cup.
Oh, really? That was done already?
Yeah.
Nice.
What was the score?
4-1, I think.
Jesus Christ, that's a blowout for a final game. All right, so
Saskatchewan's team, bro.
School of Rock, let's get into this. Do either of you guys regret watching this movie?
Nah.
Really?
No.
So then, Kyle, we'll go with you then. What would you rate this movie 1 to 5?
Oh, I haven't thought about that yet.
Patrick, have you thought about it at all?
Thought about what?
What you'd rate this movie 1 to 5?
5.
Really?
Holy, just going all in.
Yeah. Fucking
are you high? Or are you just feeling good?
Nah. I'm just... that movie made me feel real nice, man.
Yeah.
This movie is such a feel-good movie. Every time I watch it, I can't help but, like, turn it off with a smile. Like, no matter what's happening in my life, if this movie's on TV, it makes me feel better. So I'm going to be with Patrick on this one with a 5 as well, I think. It's just one of those movies that, like, you can not watch for several years and go back to, and it's just
a guarantee,
it's the same.
A guarantee if none of us had been in a band, it would have been like a solid 4.
I don't know, man. So our rating scale for 5 is perfect movie, could watch once a year.
You know what?
I'm going to give it a 5 also.
I think I could watch this
straight across the board. Man, I could watch it 3 times a year, and I probably have.
This is going to be the movie that I sit down and show my kids one day. And I'm going to be there like...
Man, I can't... This just makes me so excited to watch Tenacious D because, like, well, Jack Black has a YouTube channel now, too, that I watch every week where he does gamings and he does behind the scenes with footage and some of his personal stuff. And it's just so entertaining seeing Jack Black do stuff. Like, this dude is probably one of the most entertaining people on the planet. And I don't think there's any getting around that. But yeah, so solid 5s around the board.
That's the first time.
Oh man, how many times do you guys think you've seen this movie though? Like Kyle said, he's just left it on for days.
I've seen it at least 4 or 5 times.
I'm above a dozen times.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm probably close to 10, I'd say. It's weird because there's things in this movie still that I'm watching it years later and I'm still picking up on. Like there's one scene in particular that I laughed pretty hard at where the principal comes in and Jack Black's pouring himself some coffee and he pours it on his arm and he burns himself. And
he just grabs a scoop of butter and rubs
just
it on his
starts rubbing butter on his head.
It's cold.
It killed me, man. Like it's still like some of the jokes still hold up. And one of the greatest jokes in any movie ever, I'm gonna say this out front, is the most sincere moment of the movie as well. Where they're at a parent-teacher conference, all the parents are in the room and they find out that Dewey, Jack Black's character, is actually not in fact Ned Schneebly, the substitute teacher, but just a random guy that's been hanging out with their kids and teaching them music. And he says, quite frankly, your kids have touched me and I believe I've touched them too. And there's like a pause and then there's the camera pans to the parents' faces and watching these parents one by one slowly come to the realization is one of like the best physical comedy setups I've seen in like probably any movie. Like that's the perfect peak of just like having 20 people react one by one. Like it's so good. Is there anything about this movie that you guys don't like though?
Honestly, no.
It's weird.
It's fucking wild. I forgot how incredible this shit was, man.
It's one of those movies you can leave on, and even if you're not in the mood for it or anything, you can still sit through it, and I don't think you can find anything.
There's something about Jack Black in this movie where you just cannot take your fucking eyes off of him.
In anything, man. That guy's just mesmerizing.
Just even the scenes where it's like just a conversation, somehow there's just an unbelievable amount of energy.
Right. And the thing is, too, I think the world is like very familiar now with Jack Black as the character that he is. But School of Rock came out in 2003, and I think the only other movie I can think of before that was Orange County. And he played a small role, and it was nothing like Jack Black. So it's like this was probably one of the first movies that he got to basically play himself. And I think the world kind of fell in love with him because of it. And just like his musical talent and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Okay, so my microphone got really loud there, sorry. So School of Rock came out in 2003, starring Jack Black and Mike White as Ned Schneebly, the real Ned Schneebly. Mike White also wrote this movie, and he also wrote the movie Orange County, which is the other one Jack Black was in. This movie was directed by Richard Linklater. Does that name ring a bell for either of you guys?
Nope.
What was it?
Richard Linklater.
No idea.
He is the director of A Scanner Darkly. It's like a weird reality animated movie with Keanu Reeves. And also Bad News Bears. You guys hear about that one? It's a baseball movie about a bunch of kids being taught to play baseball by a fucking shithead.
No.
He's like a drunk who starts to teach kids how to play baseball.
No.
It's very similar to this, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we don't regret watching it. Straight 5s across the board, but let's see what other people say. IMDb, this has a 7.1 out of 10. Common Sense something has a 4 out of 5. And Rotten Tomatoes, it's at 91%. And 94% of Google users liked this movie. So that's actually pretty high ratings for this movie. The budget for this movie was about $35 million US, and it made about 81 in the box office. So this movie did pretty good. Are you guys familiar with any of the other School of Rock stuff that's going on after this movie came out?
No.
So School of Rock was turned into a musical on Broadway. So I think to this day it's still a musical on Broadway. That's one thing that I wouldn't mind seeing if they put like
love to go see that.
If they put like a DVD or something out of the performance, I would probably buy it just.
Can you imagine getting like a nice buzz going and then going to watch that shit live? How fucking giddy would it all be?
One thing I'd like to look into is to see if Jack Black actually wrote any of the music for this, because when you guys asked that, and I have no idea about that. That'd be something one of us could maybe look into.
I'm sure he helped with a lot of it, but
because that dude, like, he's an improv master. So I bet some of the stuff he improvised, but some of the written stuff is almost so well written that I don't know, man. Jack Black's just a songwriting master. So School of Rock was also picked up by, I think, either Nickelodeon or Disney for a TV series as well. And I think it's on either Netflix or Amazon right now. So if you guys are interested in that, I might check it out just out of curiosity.
It's probably shipped. But...
probably, but I might see how it is. But yeah. So other than that, we'll go into some in-depth reviews. There's one, it's a 5 out of 10 that I'm going to read a little later, so we can dive into the movie a little bit more. It's a bit longer, but the guy dives into some pretty solid points that I think we should touch on. So who's got the 1 out of 10 review?
Patrick, I think.
Maybe, yeah.
All right, Kyle, how about you go first with the 10 then?
I just realized that the game that I made is actually still a draft text message to you, so I now can't see any of the things that you said.
Oh, because you were going to send it to me?
Yeah.
Instead of like writing it all down in a notepad like a normal human being?
Well, how about you suck a dick real quick and I'll paste this into someone else's conversation.
Listeners, just so you know, that's how often Patrick texts me, is we haven't seen each other for about a month, and he's been working on this game that whole time. So, just throwing that out there.
All right. So, do you want to just go from 10 down?
Yeah, we'll go 10, 1, and then I'll do 5 last, because there's some stuff here that I kind of want to talk about that'll lead into a discussion a little bit.
All right. So this one's the 10 out of 10 from Disney Emily, from October 2006. She says, "I loved it. I loved the movie. I thought it was very inspiring for younger kids, like me, who have big dreams." I've always wanted to be an actress in the movie, so it's good for people like me that want to make it in the big times and don't know how and don't think I have the quality to do that, but the movie made me get a feeling inside me saying that I can do it if I put my mind to it, with no punctuation in the whole entire thing.
Right. And the name was Disney Emily, so we can assume this is a kid.
Yeah.
But the reason I picked that review is because I think this is a movie that I think is probably one of the, I would say, most important movies for up-and-coming songwriters, potentially, and musicians. Man. Because even watching this movie when I was younger, it made me want to just pick up the guitar and keep practicing.
Yeah, it's inspiring for sure. I remember this had a big part in me wanting to try and play bass.
Right, I remember that. And you started learning Sex Pistols and stuff.
Yeah. It didn't go very far because I sucked, but yeah.
Well, you didn't practice hard enough, right?
Yeah.
Well, I never thought of playing guitar as practicing. I never sat down and said, I'm going to practice.
I definitely, the first few years of me playing guitar, I grinded it out. I did practice. It was like at school I practiced and at home I practiced. But it was practice, but it was like more so practicing learning stuff. Like another big thing around this time that came out that made a lot of people want to start playing instruments was Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
So it was between School of Rock and the songs from Guitar Hero, I started learning stuff. Like just the simple riffs like Smoke on the Water that they were playing. It's like anybody can learn that. And you feel so proud of yourself when you can play that.
The first song I ever independently learned was Blue Orchid by the White Stripes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a fucking riff, man.
Yeah, Icky Thump was one of mine.
Oh, that's a jam as well, yeah.
White Stripes was
that's a good starting point,
starter band.
Yeah.
Seven Nation Army, pretty much everybody I know learned how to play that right away.
But played it the wrong way, right?
Well, because they played it single string, and you're supposed to play it with chords.
Yeah.
It's just cool that there was things like this around that time that came out that, you know, there's a whole generation of musicians now that exist probably solely because of a couple things that came out around this time.
Like, if you don't get a buzz watching the end of that movie, like if you don't sit there like, fucking, this is so good.
Yeah, just fucking ripping the whole thing. Like it just, you feel like you're so into it when you watch it.
Like that whole, like, I know it was obviously like a pre-recorded song, but just the way that they managed to play it out at the end was so good.
The thing too, though, is the awesome thing about this movie is all these kids actually learned their instruments and they actually played these songs. And that's even more inspiring as a kid because you see these kids actually accomplished it. Where if you see like adults and rock stars playing guitar, that seems so far away and it seems like you have so much work ahead of you before you get to that point.
Yeah.
But if you see a 10-year-old kid playing guitar and they say it only took them 3 weeks to get to that point, it makes you so like passionate to just put your all into it.
That's it. I think it does make a difference when you start trying to learn though.
Yeah.
Like if you pick up a guitar super early, you will fucking fly by the time you're like 15, 16
But you have
years old.
you have to want to practice though. That's the thing. When you're a kid, you want to hang out with your friends.
I got hooked on learning songs that I liked.
Right.
And like playing along to the songs that I liked. And it wasn't necessarily the right thing that I was playing, but like it was in key. But because I wasn't necessarily playing the right thing, now I can pretty much play over any bit of music.
Right, because your mistakes are kind of like stand out to you a little bit. So you memorize them and then you can kind of learn things by ear quicker that way.
That's it, yeah. I mean, I haven't looked at tabs for years now.
I have probably like once a year. I just looked at a tab just to be like, oh, I wonder what that chord is that they play. You know, but for the most
chords,
part, it's
sometimes I struggle, but I've got a relatively decent understanding somehow now. I learnt chords from a band called Eternity Forever, right?
I remember you showing me this.
Fucking unbelievable band. But I heard it and I was like, I gotta fucking learn that.
Yeah.
And I remember watching this guy play it on YouTube and I was like, how am I gonna learn this? This is fucking stupid. It was like chord, lead fill, tap, back into another chord.
They're playing 4 guitar parts at once, essentially.
It's unreal. But like learning that song gave me a way better understanding of chords in general.
Right. And I'm weird when it comes to that because I've been playing guitar on and off for 7, 8, almost 10 years probably.
Yeah.
And like
more than that.
It's weird because it's like I still wouldn't be able to tell you half the chords people play or half the chords that I'm playing. I couldn't tell you.
I wouldn't even tell you a note.
Oh, maybe I'm playing an A5 power chord. I don't know. I haven't like looked at that since like 10 years ago. But it's like now I'm starting to get an appreciation for different kinds of music, like jazz chords and stuff, and like there's such cool progressions out there that you start to develop into that.
When I discovered Ben Howard and like finger picking
and acoustic stuff, right?
Stuff, yeah. and just like alternate tunings and all that kind of stuff. Like that blew my fucking mind.
It's crazy.
But I think I played one of the songs that I'd written one of the first times that you came over to ours. That's like probably one of the best things I've ever written.
And I shit a brick. You made me want to quit playing guitar again because I've been playing so fucking long, and you were playing shit that I couldn't even comprehend.
That's why I quit bass. That's why Dad quit guitar.
I fucking loved playing bass, man. There's something about like if you're enthusiastic enough to make it your own, you can really make bass like an effective part of a song.
Yeah, see, when I went into it, I was like just watching School of Rock, I was like, it looks easy, I can do that. And I was like, I liked Sex Pistols, and I was like,
this is the thing. Kyle picked up the bass guitar.
I could be fucked up like Sid Vicious. Like.
Kyle picked up the bass guitar, and in the first month, he was trying to learn Rancid tabs on bass. And if anybody knows,
I fucking played that one song over and over and over again.
If anybody knows Rancid is one of the most complex bass players.
It was like the songs that I chose to learn were like Blink-182, which is like their fucking
pretty basic.
Bass player is like a second guitar, and then fucking Rancid. Those were, and Green Day, I think, too. And like those were the songs that I, like, bands that I chose to try and learn, and I did it through tabs. That's how I learned.
But I think that really helps, because if you get guitar lessons and someone gives you a bit of music to go home and learn, it's like homework.
But yeah,
right.
And
but
like,
if you learn that Rancid song and then your mates come over and you start fucking ripping through the bass line and they're like, "Oh fuck you!"
Well, that's the thing. Sick. Like I could do it. It just I couldn't do it as fast, and I'm not like same with like drumming. Like I can't do my hands and my feet at the same time.
It's
like,
harder for you to concentrate on what you're playing and keeping rhythm at the same time. I've noticed that's been an issue.
Yeah, and that's why like I just.
But that's something you can work through, and that's the thing is I think everybody has those stutters at first, but it's such a bad habit to break.
The one thing I like super struggled with was so stuff like that AC/DC song, "You Shook Me All Night Long."
Yeah.
So like playing it with power chords, I remember learning the actual chords for it, and I learned all the chords, could play all the chords fine. But fuck me, it took me ages to actually transition between the chords.
Yeah.
I could play them all individually at 5-second intervals.
Yeah, and I did the same thing. Like in high school, I took a guitar class just for an elective because I thought it would be easy to do, whatever.
Yeah.
And basically, all you did is they taught you like how to basic read chords. And
the G, C, A,
yeah,
A,
shit
G.
like that. And then like it was just a half a year, so like a one semester thing. It was pretty simple, and you knew from the first day, like all you had to do was play a song. You can do it with someone else in the class, and if you made it through the song, then you pass, right? Mm-hmm. And me and my one buddy, who he wasn't really good at guitar either, didn't know, and we played a fucking all-time low song. Nice. Really shitty fucking acoustic song. We both played it on acoustic, and we like 2 weeks before we were supposed to do it, we sat down. We're like, hey, you're gonna play these chords and I'm gonna play these chords, and we fucking bullshitted our way through it. It was so bad, but yeah, we made it through. And yeah, actually the other day he texted me and he was like, hey man, heard this song, reminded me of you, and sent me the link to it.
I had an awesome guitar teacher in high school. Well, I had two guitar teachers. One was kind of made me want to quit playing because he was so strict with reading and theory and stuff, and I hated it. He was so passionate though that I kept trying to like learn a song to impress him. He was like an older man.
Yeah.
But he's been doing it so long that he knew he was doing, and I think that was the biggest reason why I kept practicing. But the end of high school, I had an awesome teacher as well. He was almost like a few years older than us. He was like a fairly new guitar teacher, and he came in and he said everybody's like, okay, well, what do we have books to learn from? Like, are we going to learn what classical song this year? And he's like, no, every person pick one song on guitar that you would like to learn. I'll sit down with you guys individually. We'll go through it, and we'll see if we can learn it by the end of the semester. And then you guys can play that for me, and depending on your guitar skill level, we'll find something that's more difficult or whatever. But I want you guys to be able to learn what you want to learn and music that you like.
Yeah, man. That's
it makes such a difference.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
Do you remember, I think it was like a class that everyone had to do, like it was part of curriculum when we were younger, but everyone had flutes or
recorders.
Recorder, and you had to go like that was part of your
it was just music
fees.
class.
You had to do it, and it was like just it wasn't like maybe a half an hour class a day. It's like it was
like
short.
it was like twice a week.
Was it? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know if you had anything like that. Like that would have been like grade
3 to 6 or
4
something
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so in England you get you do like your basic secondary education, but then you get to pick a set of GCSEs that you do. Mm-hmm. So you get to pick a set of subjects. And I didn't get music as an option because I wasn't good enough.
Yes, okay. Me too, actually.
See, this was.
I wanted to learn bass so bad.
This was like something that was. Guitar. This was something that was like everyone did. Your whole class went to it.
Yeah, I'm looking back on it, really quite sad that wasn't a very big thing. Because
I just remember playing Hot Cross Buns all the time on fucking recorders.
Like
literally, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But like, could you imagine? If you went into that class, like you had, say, 20 people in your class, 20 kids, they go into a class and Jack Black is your teacher, I bet you 5 of them will come out musicians.
Yeah, no doubt.
Like, you know what I mean? He's a teacher like that would be freaking incredible to have.
Yeah, man.
I feel like music is such an important thing in school as well. Like, for me, if I would have been able to have more opportunities and funding and stuff, I feel like that was my biggest downfall with music in elementary school. It was like you could play bass guitar, but you have to be able to pay the $250 upfront fee to rent it.
But look at all
like
the people
a trombone that's like $180, and I'm like, if I would have learned saxophone back then, you better fucking believe I'd be shredding the saxophone. Right
I don't
now.
know, man. Look at all the people that we know that played like an instrument or played in band. None of them are doing anything with music anymore.
I know quite a few.
Really?
I know a lot of people that went to school for music at the U of S and everything. Yeah. The issue that most people get stuck on is the theory and the music reading. And I think a lot of people, it's just like math. Not everybody's good at math, and not everybody's good at reading music. And I suck at reading music. I can't do it, and that's why I learn things by ear. But if I had the opportunity to learn how to play a saxophone, like even now, a part of me is like, I'll be like perusing Amazon late at night, 2 a.m. when I'm drunk or something, and be like, oh, it's only $300.
I tried learning violin.
Oh yeah.
And I knew where the notes were, and I could do the scales. It's similar tuning to a mandolin.
Okay.
Not too different from that. But it's just the process you have to go through to actually get the notes to not sound like shit.
Right, there's like a vibration and an angle you have to hold your bow.
But like even, when you like vibrato a string on a guitar, even on violin, it's way fucking different. You don't sort of do that. You have to do that.
Right, you're vibrating the neck,
like
not
you
the
will
string.
Like jerking a micro penis. That's just literally the motion that you got to do. Such a tiny little like.
Oh, so what you're saying is I could learn this pretty quickly then?
Yeah, no doubt. But like even the bow, because when you're like picking strings on a guitar, unless you're like hammering on the same string, or fucking some people can sweep pick and all that sort of shit, you are like pretty much picking every note,
right
thereabouts. But like on a fucking violin, you could do 120 notes with just one sweep of the bow.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. And like every angle gets a different string as well. And you have to be so like precise with it. And I just don't know how people are just fucking shredding on a violin.
It's a pretty incredible instrument though.
I feel like the world would be such a better place if everybody had easy access to instruments.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I think
I know for a fact that music has shaped me as a person.
I think we need more things like School of Rock though to give that feeling to people and that ambition and drive to try and learn some stuff, because like what's the last like big musical thing out there that shows how to play instruments or showcases anybody can do it. Like, there really isn't any. Like, we have Bohemian Rhapsody and stuff like that, but it's more so people who were like destined to be.
There was Whiplash, but
Whiplash is an unreal movie though.
So good.
But that's another. That one deterred me from playing music. Dude, it's a drumming movie with what's his name?
I
Miles Teller.
This.
Yeah. I would highly recommend
it's one of the best. If you want to know what playing music would be like for like a university program,
okay,
it's one of the best depictions of that, but it's also like mental. Like, it's another level of stress just watching it. You watch that movie.
I think
and
I remember reading a post about it from Joey.
Yeah, and you can like watch that movie and your brain will be like, how do people go through this process and not break as a human being from the like the pressure, the tension, the stress, and just working. Like, if you're off by the tiniest note, your teacher is somebody who has perfect timing and perfect pitch, and if you're off the tiniest bit, they're like, okay, you've been practicing drums for like 18 years and you think you got it perfect? Well, you just missed that note. I'm pulling you off the fucking team, and now you're gonna have to practice again for another year to prove to me that you're not gonna miss that note again.
That you're not or that you're a robot.
And then they throw somebody else in there to replace you until they fuck up. Then they keep doing that. It's unreal pressure because you have to like prove time and time again that you're the best musician in the room.
And the stuff that blows my mind about those kind of bands is that they're literally playing it as they're reading it.
Right. And I can't do that
Which is fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy too. Like, I've seen lots of videos where like a person will be playing it or a band will be playing, and all of a sudden they'll like pull the music like sheet away and put something else in front of them, and they'll just literally play it.
Yeah.
Without knowing what it is at all. Like, that's an incredible skill too.
Fucking nuts.
But like that's like practice.
Decades worth of practice. Yeah.
There's a guy on YouTube. His name's Adam Neely. Have you heard of this guy, Patrick?
No.
He's a mainly a bass player, but he kind of he talks about music theory and stuff. He dumbs it down for like the layman. I've been watching his videos a little bit here and there, but he also does things where he just performs with random bands all over New York once in a while. He's like a session musician for like live shows, and it's cool like seeing this guy come in and having to learn the music with the band half an hour before you play it with people that he's never met before. And he does like vlogs of him doing this stuff. It's super interesting. If anybody's interested in that stuff, like Whiplash and stuff, Adam Neely is a channel to check out. This guy is super interesting.
I'm also like blown away by like lots of singers that have like perfect pitch and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, did you watch that David Dobrik vlog with Charlie Puth?
Yeah, Charlie Puth.
Like, do you know anything about him?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's got perfect pitch, and it's like that's a really crazy. Like, some people call it a disease because it's hard.
You can have perfect pitch, and there's also adjustable pitch as well.
Yeah.
Which is where, like, even if the note is slightly off, you can still pick up what it should be.
Yeah, like, he's crazy, and he can play anything. Like, you fucking tell him to, or like play a snippet of a song, and he can just play it. Like, it's insane how he just picks up on shit, and the amount of people in the world like that is just fucking incredible that can do that.
Nuts.
All right, Patrick, let's read your 1 out of 10 review here, buddy. If you got that with you.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'll read mine. We'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll go into some trivia.
Okay. 1 out of 10 from Franco7778, which means that Franco has no fucking soul. These comments here are funnier than this movie, apparently. Not sure what everyone else saw, or if they merely shills for the film, or perhaps friends and family of the cast and crew. But SOR sucked. School of Rock, by the way, for anyone that's
he had to abbreviate it.
At least as far as Jack Black's performance, that's a stretch, is concerned. Jack Black was stupid, which is not unusual. Unfortunately, it wasn't funny this time. He seems to play the same friggin' character in nearly all his movie. It now bores me to watch him. right up there with Tom Green, another overrated bore. This is the last time I'm wasting my money on this particular boring clown.
But like we said, this is probably one of the first movies Jack Black played himself. So I don't understand why he's...
It's such a genuine performance because it's
him.
Yeah, it's closer to him than anything else.
Right.
You know?
And I think that's like we mentioned so many times already in the podcast, that's why this movie works, and that's why it stands out, and that's why it's such a inspiring movie, because Jack Black is just a phenomenal performer.
He is.
Okay, so I'm going to read mine, and then I'm going to get you guys to give me your thoughts on some of the stuff I talk about here. We're going to kind of dive into this one a little bit. This is a little bit of a longer review this guy has. It's from Alex Willie and a bunch of numbers from Christmas 2015. It's a 5 out of 10, and he wrote, "Promoting child endangerment and safeguarding breaches doesn't matter if the film is funny, right?" So it goes, oh yeah, by the way, spoilers. "I don't care what other reviewers say, this is a horrible movie. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief slightly in the name of entertainment, in quotes, but it's impossible to do that with this film. To consider a few examples. So example number 1, boys, let's get your opinion on this. Dewey doesn't provide any identification to the school upon his arrival, nor is he asked for any." Really?
Okay, well, as far as I'm aware, this isn't a movie about how the school system employs people.
Right, but let's treat this guy's opinion of it being like a real life situation, just to humor this.
Real life situation. Let's say they have this guy's information on record already.
Right.
They have his contact information because he's already been a well-known substitute teacher.
Correct.
Right, he's been recommended by someone. She's in a rush, clearly, because they need someone to start that day. They contact him. He turns up.
So we'll figure out the details ourselves. You just get in there and teach.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. So number 1,
debunked.
Already debunked. Number 2, the police don't take any action against Dewey despite his deliberate and repeated acts of fraud, identity theft, child abduction, child endangerment, and he's even able to work unsupervised with children again? ?
Well, he was with the same people at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And he's reteaching. But I think... Okay, so watching the movie this time, at the end of the movie, I always originally thought the School of Rock after-school program was him teaching these kids.
Right.
But it's actually his friend Ned teaching them, and that's just the School of Rock band practicing.
Right.
Yeah, and I never realized that until this time watching it.
So the idea was that Ned quit substituting so he could teach.
He's teaching
music.
this. Yeah.
Right.
But they probably didn't take action on it because I'm sure none of the parents pressed charges because they're still all hanging out. They got over the fact that he kidnapped their kids in a way.
But I mean, I think this is referring to the initial part where Dewey runs away and literally just goes home, and when they show up 10 minutes later, he's just eating cereal.
Yeah.
The cops have his location. Guaranteed the parents would want to press charges, or at least put him on hold in a fucking cell overnight to figure shit out.
Yeah. Well, the movie wouldn't work with that, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Debunked.
Right. There you go. The movie wouldn't work. Fuck you, reviewer. I just think these are funny. Okay, number 3. He has no teaching assistants in his class and doesn't have any member of the senior member team observe him, apart from a small bit which is clearly for the purposes of plot development.
Yeah, but they've all broken their legs, haven't they?
Right. And I don't think I've ever had a substitute that actually had somebody supervising.
No, I mean,
we just had...
I did have a substitute teacher once where one of the kids went outside of the classroom during the lunch break, found a picture of a fat naked lady in a book, made a copy of it, stuck it to the whiteboard, and wrote wanker in permanent marker. And when we came back up...
She couldn't erase it?
No. When we came back up after lunch, it was all gone. And he didn't say a word. No one got told off. He didn't say a fucking thing. And that, I think, riled us up more.
Yeah.
Because there was no acknowledgement. We could see the picture in the bin. He'd torn it off the whiteboard and he'd put it in the trash, but he didn't say a fucking word.
The substitute days were the days that you got to be a little bit of a dickhead in school.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, sadly.
Mr. Powers, his name was. Mr. Powers.
We had a British substitute in math class one day, and everybody just did our horrible British accents. One of the kids raised his hand, and the teacher's like, yes. And he's like, excuse me, can I go to the washroom? I have the mad shits. That's what he said. And she's like, do not talk like that in my classroom. And then everybody's like, do not talk like that in my class. And it just like, it went on, and she like started crying, and she left.
Oh, yeah, fuck. I always feel so bad now for substitute teachers. And I know a couple kids from high school that have became subs. Right. And it's like, why did you choose that?
I feel like the best thing you can do in that situation is start roasting the kids back.
Yeah. Because it's like, the kids can't really say anything about it. And if they do, it's like, well, your child was misbehaving.
So, like, if I was that teacher and someone was fucking roasting my accent, I'd say, well, we committed genocide once and we aren't afraid to do it again, so I'd reel it the fuck in.
I think Patrick could be an awesome substitute teacher, though. I could see that.
I would kick the door open. I'd say, right, sit down.
If Patrick was my substitute
and then you pull
teacher,
out your knife.
Yeah.
If Patrick was my substitute teacher, it would just be like every 5 minutes, Patrick going, fuck you. And me making some shitty dad
Someone
joke.
puts their hands up. No.
But I have the mad shits.
Shit yourself.
Okay, number 4. Are we really supposed to believe that the parents seriously care about their children's education if they wait until the parents' evening to voice their concerns? Wouldn't the lack of academic homework or the fact that they would have been given vague answers about what they had done at school that day rung an alarm bells earlier, particularly as it was a private and not public school? And I find it impossible to believe that none of the children would have told their parents about the band. This point is made even worse by the fact that the parents of Lawrence, who's pretty cool, knew he's been asked to listen to the album, which probably causes a safeguarding concern by itself, as it's probably not age-appropriate music for a child of his age to listen to.
Who the fuck is this guy?
Also, if my kid was 10 and came home with Roundabout by Yes, I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's smoke some weed and listen to that. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, but those points are valid, but again, it's a fucking movie.
Yeah, man.
Right, but like for me, it's funny to like read these comments because there's people in the world who are like watching this movie in this spectrum, being like, actually affected by this.
This is probably the same guy that gets offended by Frozen not having any frostbite.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, let's try and fly through these ones. A Battle of the Bands competition. Wait, what the fuck? Number 5. A Battle of the Bands competition can sell out a medium-sized venue at 2:3 in the 2 to 3 in the afternoon on a weekday. Does anybody in this film have a job? That is a valid point. I've heard that brought up over the years many times. Battle of the Bands in the middle of the day on a weekday, terrible idea, but, you know, plot point, what you gonna do?
Well, you know what? They didn't say it was like 2, 3 in the afternoon. Maybe those kids all had detention on a weekend.
I do think the turnout for the Battle of the Bands thing was a bit fucking crazy.
Yeah. 20 grand on the line.
Was it like a high stakes? Like, were there relatively popular bands there?
Well, it was 20 grand on the line, and
Dude,
it said
Creed played.
It said It said WORC beside the banners, which made me believe it was some sort of radio competition. But yeah, Creed.
That was before they were called Creed, though. Yeah, they were called Vacancy back then.
I'm hungry, A minor G on you.
I fucking love the what song do they do? It was called Higher.
Can you take me higher?
So that did we ever tell them the story about when we all recorded that?
Oh no! You should tell them that. That's fucking
Okay, so
funny.
when we went on our tour with this other band, it was all of us in the van, whatever, and we were like, "Hey, let's go to West Ed," because we were going to Edmonton.
Yeah.
So we went in there, and there was like those wind booth things, where you go in there and it
like
makes
a photo booth.
It like makes it like a hurricane, make it feel like that, whatever. It was like that, but it was like soundproof, whatever. And you could go in there and there's a list of songs you could pick from.
Karaoke songs.
Yeah, and you'd put like $10 in, and they would actually print your songs you recorded on an actual CD.
Wow.
Like a disposable CD.
We fit like 6 of us in there, and we fucking sung 2 Creed songs.
No, 3 Doors Down.
3 Doors Down, yeah.
3 Doors Down, and our buddy went in and he sang Taylor Swift.
Is that what it was?
So and he was so proud of himself, but he wouldn't show it to any of us because he's so embarrassed.
Wow.
So we recorded it on this fucking CD. There was only 2 songs on it. And we went into the van. He was so stoked about it. He put in the CD player and got fucking stuck in there. We listened to it over and over.
My one friend Cody sang "Kryptonite" by Three Doors Down with like the best Creed Nickelback voice ever. It was like,
nice.
It was so, I go crazier than you, over and over again for like 2 hours, man.
And then so it got stuck in there, and finally we turned it down, and it was off for like the longest time. All of a sudden, like we were driving. After one of the shows, we were driving and it was fucking so quiet. Everyone was like just chilled out in the van. All of a sudden, it just fucking turns up real blaring, and everyone was like laughing, whatever. And they were like, "What the fuck?" And he was like, "Man, I needed to wake up." Yeah, it was so good though.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
Definitely worth the $10.
Number 6, the promoter gave them the spot on the bill without even listening to them. For all he knew, they could have been absolutely rubbish.
Yeah, they were dying.
Yeah, but they
probably promoted the shit out of it on the radio, like, you know.
Yeah. Dying kids performing in the middle of the day. Please come support them. For WROC,
Charity
we
work.
rock.
Yeah.
Number 7, the police weren't called when all the children went missing and the concert went ahead anyways.
That's because they were just fucking running off to their kids. The police didn't do anything the first time. Why were they calling?
That's a good point. They're like, arrest that man, and they just let him pass with 2 guitars and go home and eat cereal. Like, that was the
Although, did you look that closely? Was that a cop or was that just security?
It looked like they were cops.
Yeah. There was only one of them, though, I think.
They tried to grab his hand, but it was just caked in butter from his coffee burn that day. It slipped right out. Number 8, the field trip was still booked. This is the most ridiculous plot hole of all because A, the bus would have been booked via the school, and I find it hard to believe it wouldn't have been canceled immediately after Dewey's deception was found out.
Man, they were busy.
Yeah. B, the bus driver hasn't been told about the deception or even found out about it. I imagine it would have made at least local news or got around to the town.
Not if they were keeping it hush-hush.
I would say it's kind of sketch that the fucking bus driver was like, "Oh, it's just you kids? There's no teacher?"
Oh, 3 kids, okay.
Hop on, where are we going?
By the way, the bus driver is goofy.
An apartment complex downtown?
Oh, 3 kids, oh, okay.
And then...
Sorry, Canadian goofy.
Cuts
Ooh, okay.
Cuts to a scene where it's the bus driver standing in front of the class being like, "I'm pretty sure I've touched your kids. Your kids have touched me." Yeah, that bus driver was kind of sketchy. Number 9, and the last one.
Jesus.
How on earth does Summer know where Dewey lives? Either he gave her his home address, why, or she got it from the school, how. Both are data protection and safeguarding issues. Yes, okay, it's just a film, but take a moment to think about the subtext of this film. It's actually saying about all these various issues. So that's why this guy gave it a 5 out of 10.
So to find out his address would probably be pretty easy to just look up his name.
He gave 10 negative points, but gave it a 5 out of 10.
Yeah.
What a gimp. All right.
I guess it was still entertaining. Yeah, still Jack Black.
Right. Trivia.
Tune in to WROC for today's best trivia and hot trivia points.
I'm Crispy Foreskin. That was gross. Sorry.
That was real fucking gross.
That was sports. Back to you.
I gave each of you guys 2 trivia points today, and I only have 1 because it's a longer one. So we'll go with you guys back and forth, and I'll read the last one before we wrap it up today. So.
All right. Miranda Cosgrove, who plays Summer in the movie, can sing. She took about a 45-minute bad singing lesson to sing horrible for the song Memory when Jack Black's character was looking up backing singers.
I was going to say, I don't think that you can go as far as acting as she did in her career without being able to sing.
Yeah, right.
Well, you know what's funny too is even when she was singing badly, she was still hitting notes better than 90% of the people I know.
She wasn't. She basically just wasn't singing. She was just talking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I sing, you guys.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ralph actually said that's, and it actually really is fucking weird. Like, if you find that a note is too high, if you talk it, but in the note, you'll find that you can reach it way fucking easier. Because I did it, and she was like, there you go. I was like, holy fuck, I'm such an idiot.
I can hit notes, but it's all monotone, which doesn't really make sense, but...
Yeah, but like, you can scream. So if you put that like same power behind it, it probably sounds fucking amazing.
It doesn't work though. Trust me.
I don't know, man.
You know, you just got to reach for that note. You just got to take it higher.
I can do the high singing, man. You get me to sing some Maroon 5 or AC/DC, I'll do it.
Trivia, go.
Okay. Originally in the script, Dewey was supposed to have run the teacher over before she came to school, which stopped her from teaching the class for 3 weeks. After they changed it to her falling in the shower instead.
How would they segue that of him like running the teacher over? Would that just be just a random accident that they would kind of...
Yeah, because
how would they be like he seeked out the position?
Reckon, it makes more sense that they called Ned for a fucking job interview instead of Jack Black just being like, maybe I should just run a teacher over and fucking take her job.
So maybe it was just
I reckon the segue would have been when he tried to stage dive. And he would have like landed on this poor woman.
Yeah, that would have been good. Yeah. Or maybe when he was like driving home, he like bumped her with the car and just drove off.
Yeah, just didn't know.
And then he got home and then he got a fucking phone call the next day. Yeah,
just like fate. That's probably what they're trying to do, yeah.
Yeah. The slipping in the shower thing was like kind of weird for her to be in a coma and out of school for a month.
She wasn't in a coma. They just said she broke her leg, but...
You can still teach with a broken leg.
Yeah, well...
All right. Well,
not those brats.
Can't teach gym. those who can't teach gym. Am I right? All right, Patrick, you're up.
Okay. All the kids really play their instruments, and the backup singers are real vocalists. Jack Black also played a bit of guitar in the movie, for example, when he's teaching Smoke on the Water and Iron Man to Zach, but he didn't do the guitar solos.
Just with his mouth.
It's Kyle Gass that does the guitar solos, though, in Tenacious D, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
He's lead guitar. Jack Black is rhythm and vocals.
Which makes sense. Like, I mean, I don't think it's not that Jack Black couldn't play them. I think it's just filming.
Yeah.
And believably, like, playing the solo perfectly every time is probably pretty tough. So
no doubt.
Yeah.
He plays it perfectly with his mouth by going.
He really did, didn't he? That was
Jack Black.
It was like perfect to what it actually turned out to
be. That's what he's known for. That's what you want to hear. You don't want to hear him actually play it on guitar. You want to hear him a cappella it.
And I always thought that was so funny when you would do that. When you'd be like, "Yeah, like I wrote this song," and it goes like ring a ding 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 ding.
Yeah. Okay. So I was writing Crazy Frog the other day.
Yeah. Basically.
All right, Kyle, you got your next one?
All right. During the course of the film, Jack Black switches the part in his hair from left to right depending on whether he is being Dewey or playing Ned.
Which I thought
Never
was
noticed that.
Kind of interesting that he like made that choice to distinguish like a different character.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
But it kind of, well, there was the one part in the movie where he was like smoothing his hair out when the principal was coming in, but I thought he was just like fixing his hair, you know. But yeah, I guess he was flipping it over.
Maybe it's like a Superman thing where like it's just like it's his glasses.
Yeah.
It's one thing that's slightly changed that makes him look like a different person.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd see his poster plastered all over fucking downtown.
Looking for musicians.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of looks like Ned.
Yeah.
But it's not. He parts his hair to the left.
Yeah. And this guy's name is Dewey, not Ned.
Wait a second. That time in the bar where he told me. Anyways. Yeah, how fucking weird was that scene where she was just awkwardly sipping on the beer over and over again?
Yeah, well, I reckon she was a secret alcoholic.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be such a fucking dark plot point if she was a recovering alcoholic and she just got back into it.
I legit think that's what it was.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Movie ends with her going to rehab and he has to take over as the principal.
No, she runs. she runs over him and all the kids.
Oh my god!
In the bus.
And then they have to do a fundraiser because they're all dying.
Holy fuck.
And they have to sell out Battle of the Bands in the middle of the day on a Tuesday.
Good lord.
Okay, anyways. This is the last piece of trivia before we wrap this up. Early in filming, an insecure Robert Sy approached director Richard Linklater and tried to talk him out of letting him be in the film because he felt he wasn't right for the part. Linklater responded that it is his very insecurity that made him exactly right for the part and kept him in. Ironically, Sy's character Lawrence has a very similar conversation with Dewey about not feeling right for the part of the band. But I'm not cool enough. Right, Patrick?
Yeah, man.
Every time he delivered any of his lines, it killed me for some reason. And I don't know what it was about his enunciation and shit, but it was just like so nerdy and out of place that it just...
It was so well done.
It's amazing. But yeah, that's it for School of Rock this week. Do you guys got anything else you want to say?
Nah, man. Fucking watch this movie if you haven't.
What are you guys feeling? Tenacious D next week?
I don't care.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
I've never seen it, so...
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
The only part I've seen is Dave Grohl's cameo.
Perfect. So, listeners, get ready to fill yourself up with some vitamin D, because you're going to get a lot of it next week when we get Tenacious with Jack Black and Kyle Gass, the legends of rock and roll. We will go travel to Satan with those boys with the Pick of Destiny. You can get in touch with us and follow us on social media on Twitter at Life with Kenny, Instagram at Life with Kenny Pod, Facebook, Life with Kenny Podcast. And don't forget to favorite us, rate us, and subscribe on your podcast app. And that'll help us get more listeners. Just a reminder, we are going to continue to do our once-a-week posting. We're going to kind of sprinkle in Life Legends episodes when we get time, because it's going to be a pretty busy summer. But we didn't forget about you guys, and we definitely didn't forget about each other, because
I actually forgot about both.
I can't go too long without seeing your face, Patrick. Don't do this to me. I also want to end this episode by saying, fuck Judge Reinhold's, hail Keanu, and get a life. You boys got anything else to say?
You're breathtaking.
Hail Keanu.